Hello, everyone. This is Kamikaze Kirby from dorkFish Labs, and I am here with Shadow and Venom, and we are basically going to discuss in this little podcast of ours about our experiences at the RTX Festival 2018 in Austin. You got it?
Yeah, just RTX 2018.
Yeah!
Beautiful weekend. It was beautiful.
All right, and we're done.
Yay! It was great.
Quick review. That's okay. Okay, see you next week.
It was beautiful. Have fun.
All right.
Keep going. Wow.
So, this is Shadow and myself's third RTX. We were in there in 2016 and 2015.
I say 15 was still probably one of our better times for some reason.
Probably because it was just like brand new for us. Just like
first time, yeah.
Yeah, we're into 17 also there.
17 we didn't go.
2015. Yeah, last year we did not go.
Yeah, from what I heard.
But I went last year with y'all.
No, that was the year before.
That was the year before. That was 2016 where we had the 4th of July party afterwards.
Damn, time passed that fast.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, we're old.
2017 was apparently a good year to miss, too.
And why is that?
And they had a whole bunch of security snafus.
Well, what were the security?
Some about they didn't have enough metal detectors at first. And apparently there was like some panel issues.
Well, why didn't they need metal detectors anyway? Because 2 years that we went, there were no metal detectors.
Yeah.
Except for like the wanding and all that.
Not that not that I want to get too off topic on it, but from what I remember, I think that RTX was in I think 2017. I think was in July that year.
Yes.
And I want to say in May, not at RTX or not anything Rooster Teeth related, but at another convention, I think in New Mexico or Arizona, there was some form of security breach. And then the only story I remember hearing at the time had something to do with JDF, the Green Power Ranger, and something about there was an attempt on his life. It was stopped before it even. I don't know how close, whatever, but I just remember after that point, I just remember hearing a bunch of people in conventions talking about upping security.
Yikes.
Okay, yeah, just because of one crazed fan.
I mean, all it takes is one crazed fan to ruin it for everybody.
Yeah. All it takes is one.
Our plan, as we do for pretty much the previous RTXs, was to arrive on Thursday evening, August 2nd, which we did, and do our supply shopping, get prepared. Although this year they did not allow us to bring any water bottles or anything in, so we were kind of screwed the pooch on that one.
Oh yeah, no food, no drinks. It's pretty much just snack bars. If you had any snack bars, because they didn't want to restrict people so much so they couldn't meet their medical or dietary needs. You were allowed one bottle of a varying size, but it just had to have no fluid in it. If you got to the checkpoint, they would either have you dump it out or you would drink it all. But the 3 days we were there, I didn't see that. That wasn't like an issue for anybody because I didn't see anybody like finishing off a bottle or dumping it out at the checkpoint.
Yeah, most everyone was pretty much running around with the Pecos Pete's.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have 2 of them ourselves.
Those had to be empty, and those you could bring back, but they once again no fluids upon the entry-exit point of it. So you could refill it once you got back on the inside.
Although I did have a situation on Saturday with that. When I was heading back to the convention center, I brought a water bottle with me. Inadvertently, I didn't realize that I still had it. And it was stuffed in the side of my backpack. In full view of the security guard and the checkpoint lady. But they just went right over and just let me through.
Yeah, some people they did, especially so it was only water. I see a lot of people.
So they might have been a little bit more lenient than what they wanted to lead on.
Yeah,
just security purposes.
Like, oh, you just bottle of water is okay. But so we had our supplies. We're geared up on Thursday, and we try to sync up our plans, like what we wanted to see, what we wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
generally what we do.
Yeah.
Talk over the game plan. Of course, a lot of it's already thought out beforehand, completely leading up to it.
Yeah. Yes.
I had no plan whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, because
was your plan.
Because you're the RT noob. You didn't really know anybody. You didn't really know the whole thing, even though I said, hey, watch some of their content or whatever. But you tagged along for the just vacation purposes of it.
And I feel like you tagged along for the experience too.
Yeah,
So
it was
like-
actually pretty fun.
Like it's a
Even
vacation.
though I did not knew much of the place, it was a blast. I liked it.
I'm glad you did like it, but like after, like I'm not saying that to be bullshit. I'm sincere. I'm glad you did like it because it is an experience. Like going to the RTX convention and then experiencing that with tens upon thousands of other people. As a newbie to the experience and someone who's unfamiliar with it, what did you take from it? Like, are you interested in Rooster Teeth now?
I am. See what the level of fun you can have doing videos or playing games. Take it to the next level, not just to play the games, just to get rid of the story and then get over it. You learn a lot of experience now from it.
And what did you think of the animation? Were you able to participate? Because their main focus of the RTX 2018 was the animation itself, like Ruby and Genlock.
I did not get to see that much of the Ruby. I didn't get to see that much, and because it was already too full.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time I got there, I was like, yeah, there was hardly any seats. So I went and
Oh, that and you're mostly just following us around for the majority of it because, like you said before, you didn't have any idea what you're doing.
yeah. I mean, I like how they had everything set over here. They have the cosplay and everything, and Rooster Teeth were playing games with other people.
Yeah.
Center stage, the center stage area. Yeah.
That was fun.
Which on the center stage, because I didn't go to the center stage and watch too much of it. The only one that I did watch was the Funhouse versus Achievement Hunter.
Yeah. And apparently they had more stuff that it just wasn't on the schedule.
Yeah.
That's what I ended up figuring out later on because they had everything on the schedule for center stage. They had it mixed between what was actually going on the center stage and what was going on the show floor.
Gotcha.
That's what I ended up figuring because they had a whole lot of community presenters or something like that on their schedules.
Well, I remember when I checked the schedule like a week before we actually went up there, they had that they were going to be playing PUBG.
Yeah, that's what I remember too.
But then when we got there, they didn't play PUBG at all, did they?
No, they switched it over to I forgot what it's
Gary's
it's
mod.
Gary's mod type. Yeah,
Yeah. Which don't
prop
get me
hunt.
wrong.
Prop
Yeah,
hunt.
there
That's
you
what
go.
it was.
Which don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it, but
Oh yeah, because it was a fan made. I don't know if that's why they changed it because it was a fan made submission or something, but it was done with the map that they were using was in the style of Funhouse and Achievement Hunters offices, and then there was a whole bunch of amongst those personalities of those two groups, they had a whole bunch of those emotes, those predetermined emotes, and I remember the one that they played the most was Ryan. Raise that. He goes,
Gonna take a lot to get me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I guess it rains down in Africa. I guess it rains.
that's the rain!
Man, the things they get to do.
That and Elise's
Oh god. Yeah.
I'm gonna crush your pussy.
That was Friday. Yeah, we're still done with Thursday yet.
On Friday, the first thing we went to was the first Achievement Hunter panel, which you were excited for. I mean, I was excited for it too. But that was your first experience basically meeting Achievement Hunter.
Yes.
So what did you think? Because, I mean, we had the VIP passes and you had the standard weekend pass. Like, tell me about it. What did you think sitting in that panel?
It was
When I
worth
say
the wait.
panels.
It was worth the wait. First, since I was over there for almost like 20 minutes to get in there, and all the people are pushing you, and then there had to be close to it so we can cover as much as we can in space.
Mhm.
You're like, this better be good, and then people are smelling like butts and.
Oh, great. People's personal hygiene sometimes just takes the back door for some reason.
Yeah.
And sweating and everything. So
And
once I sit there and I'm like, okay, let's see how it goes. People got in there, people start screaming, and I'm like, more screaming. Okay.
flashbacks to the Comic Palooza panel.
It was, oh god, at least it wasn't as bad as the comic book panel. Jeez, Louise. People kept their decibel levels at least down relatively. I mean, they were excited and pumped at RTX, but it wasn't like,
But it was fun. I mean, I liked it, enjoy it.
And you always seem to get like a seat relatively, as far as for weekend passes go, you always get a seat that was relatively close to the front.
I know!
No matter
Oh, because-
where you were in that wait line.
Yeah, and that was just luck.
Getting back to the Achievement Hunter panel, the first one, what were your thoughts, Shadow, about the Achievement Hunter trailer that you saw?
No, that was I've been waiting for them to do something like that. Like I know that they've been doing that, they were going to be doing something like that because of the achievement or the May they did a promo. I did like a promo month where they shot a lot of one-off episodes. They put it up to the fans to see what was more popular to shoot more. Of course, a lot of their shows did pretty good, but I've been waiting for them to do something like Achievement Hunter for like a while.
Okay.
I mean, it's gonna be more realistic because some don't believe they're ghosts.
Well, the majority
they're
of
just
them.
gonna go see if they find something. Not like,
Oh, yeah,
like the other shows that sometimes they fake there's something in there.
Well, that's because what most of them are coming from. Because Jeff admitted, on another panel, on the more specific
Achievement Hunter panel
on the panel
on Saturday.
he had an experience, and that's his reason for doing it. That is because they finally gotten around to that time where they've pitched the idea, and now they're going to be able to do the show. Because he said because he's a bottle of ideas. It's just a matter of timing and when basically like, okay, things are slowing down, let's introduce some new ideas.
My
But him and
interest is in the game they're doing, the one where they're
Hardcore tabletop.
that one and the other one where
it's like an escape room.
like
yeah.
the escape room.
Oh god, I forgot what that one was called.
That's what I'm looking forward.
It's like weird.
Yeah,
Jeff
that
or
might.
something.
But some of those, I think, are only. Some of those, I believe, are only first members only, which means you have to be like you have to be a first member in order to watch them.
Which is
I'll be
basically
patient.
where
I'll
you
be
sign up
patient.
for
Yeah,
their
the subscription.
streaming service.
I'll be patient until it come out in their YouTube.
But
Just bumming off of him. He's the only
Yeah.
first member on this show right now.
yeah, who got you those tickets?
RTX.
But yeah, but as far
I
as
gave him the cash. He got the tickets.
yeah, but as far as the because who had the access?
The only first member on the panel right now.
Because the achievement hunters, Jeff is the only one. Jeff was the only one. Apparently, he was the only one that's had a so-called experience. That's why he wants to do it. The rest of them are pretty much skeptics. Even though I think with the few episodes that they've shot so far, they have had some experiences, but nothing that they want to quantify as, oh, this is paranormal.
Well, I think Lindsay was saying she had an experience when she was younger as well. So that's
Yeah.
why she wants to do it.
She had something like that with her house, and Jeremy, he just wants to punch and goes. Of course, I think that's why he's been, as far as what the trailers have gone, that's why he's been getting most of the attention.
Because he wanders off by himself, is what he said on the panel at the very least.
Like you're asking for trouble because I've actually had there's a friend at work that said, she's had she's perceived as a real paranormal, kind of like where she was pronounced dead on an operating table for more than a few minutes, and she said she had a passing moment that came back or whatever. But so to her, she's an Achievement Hunter fan, and she's like, they better be taking this seriously.
They said they were. They said they were.
They say
if they're not, because she's like, if they're not careful, there's going to be some crap that happens, and there's even professionals out there, professionals in this like field, and say like, if you're not careful, you could be really, you could you're messing yourself over.
See, I'm more interested to see Jack's transition because he's a skeptic. He's like me, like don't believe.
Yeah, he said he's the only one that said hadn't had anything happen to him.
Yeah.
Of course, that translated over to
himself.
No, because they've already stroke off to their roles. Because basically Gavin's bait, Michael's the bait handler.
Michael is Michael.
Jeff's the master schemer. Well, he's usually set up with Gavin for those purposes. Ryan and Jack are the tech guys of the group.
Right.
Lindsay, I'll probably say Lindsay and Jeremy are probably more of the agitators.
I'd say, well, maybe, or Lindsay.
Lindsay, I don't know. Lindsay can go back and forth. But
Lindsay's more of the parent. She's there to try and keep them together before they get out of control.
And you don't know Lindsay.
I don't know. From the footage that we saw, yeah, she's Lindsay herself, but she seems to be the one to try and keep them reined in a little bit.
It has to do with her experiences.
Before or after the tied up one to the railroad tracks.
Michael.
No, I got that.
Michael.
I've got that dispelled. I know exactly what that light is. That is not a train. That's someone on one of those little hand carts, with the light on the front of it. Fucking with Gavin. That's what that is.
Just stops for us. Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, that's pretty much. That's pretty easy. Like, you scared enough yet? Yeah, I can see that happening.
Oh god.
But yeah, like I said, but I'm happy for that. I want to see that because because the one pilot episode they had, it was I felt like it was more like 70% them fucking with each other and then like 30% actual ghost hunting.
Right. Well, it was all probably ghost hunting because they're out there looking for something. But most of the time, they're still their achievement hunter.
No, you can easily tell when they were like fucking with one another.
Well, yeah, but I feel like a majority,
especially when it was Jeff was the target.
Oh god. I feel like it's a majority of them just actually focusing on trying to find something, but they're going to do it in their achievement hunter way.
And then connected to that the achievement hunter panel when they pulled out the little boo bunny bear, whatever they called it.
And it actually
went off. The only question, because where we were sitting at that time, because that panel had already freaking filled up, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Was because I know with some of that technology, like watching some of the other ghost shows or whatever, where they go through with the audience and they test that piece of equipment so you know when you're getting an actual hit off that equipment. Some of them, like if you're touching it, because your bioelectricity and all that will set it off. So that was my only thing because I couldn't see. It was like how much was it Lindsay had it at the time, I believe.
Lindsay was holding it. Yes.
Yeah, like
I have to go back and check.
Yeah, but I think she, whether or not she was actually holding it, in a certain way that she might not have known, that she was setting it off.
Right.
But sometimes if you touch them in just the right way, it'll set off the detector as someone's actually interacting with it.
Or maybe there was actually a ghost.
Yeah. That's what Ryan said. It's like, yeah, it's the hotel. Someone had to have died in here at some point.
I'm sure.
My belief to them, since they're what they do most of the time, I think they're gonna try to scare each other off to see who's the first one who's gonna get out. He's like, I quit, I'm out. I think they're gonna like.
Well, yeah, remember they don't. That too, but they're necessarily not trying to get each other hurt.
Yeah.
Because Jeff, remember, I don't know if you were there.
By getting them scared to see.
Oh well, yeah, it will scare, but I don't think they want to get each other.
They're gonna take to get one other person to see. I'm out. I quit. Trying to scare him.
Well, what did you think about the hardcore tabletop? Because I'm excited for it.
Oh yeah, I want to see who takes it home. Because
Oh.
it looks like they might have been leaning towards like Matt or Ryan or someone walking off with the money, but
You really think Ryan would have won that though?
he is the dark god.
He is the dark god. I'm thinking
Mad King, dark god.
but I'm thinking it's someone off the wall that's just going to actually take it on. Michael's ruled out. There's no way he would take it.
Well, they said that they. It wasn't about who was going to take it. It's who was going to win all the money.
Yeah, who's going to win all the money?
So someone won all that money.
I'm honestly thinking it's Alfredo.
The referee.
I think Alfredo.
The referee.
You mean Jeff?
Elise Williams played the referee.
Oh, no.
Lindsay was the bailiff, and Jeff was the banker.
You know what? The money is mine. Walks away.
Yeah, Jeff just pulls it out from underneath him. Well, guess what, guys? I'm the banker. I own all this. And just walks off with the money.
Exactly.
Because he even said it.
Oh, God.
She's the winner of the game.
Well, he was saying that.
No matter what,
He was saying that in the presence and the performance that she brought to the show.
But she said she's the winner either way.
Only because she's the only one who actually had fun. The rest of them probably were miserable.
Yeah,
I don't know if you play Monopoly, but that shit gets pretty damn tough.
Yeah, we never played Monopoly for that long. He gave you sit there and play for like 30, 40 minutes. Like, I'm bored. Moving on. Go play some video
You
games.
never play with real money though, man. It's so
Yeah, that's why it's called Hardcore Tabletop. Well, you gotta think about it, man. They're playing a game
right.
with real money,
Yes.
and they're already being paid to make these videos. So would you not sit there for 3 or 4 hours, however long it took playing this game?
Fair point.
You're getting
Fair point.
paid for the opportunity of walking away with even more money.
I'd be having a good time.
I would.
And that's why they're dressed up as characters, and that's why I like Ryan for being Ryan, because he's like, what, fuck it, I'm just, whatever, I'm just Ryan. And then later on, he tries to get into it.
Fucking Jack shows up with a cowboy outfit. My God.
No, I think that's
And then
because
Michael's dressed as Neo.
yeah. Well, because he had his hair dyed black for a little while.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's for hardcore tabletop.
Isn't Neon a patient person that never gets mad?
Neo?
Yeah. He's the rage quitter.
Michael is a rage quitter.
That's just his character,
That's
is the
his
rage
character,
critter.
yeah.
Rage critter. Yeah,
Well-
but that show should be pretty interesting to watch. I think that it's like what 5 something episodes.
8 episodes. They said it was going to be 8 episodes.
You
And,
used to see them when they played Dark Monopoly with Minecraft.
oh my God.
Because it's hilarious when you watch them get to the point in those videos when they start getting bored with playing the Monopoly because they have to, because it takes a little bit longer for turns
Mm-hmm.
because you can't just roll the dice and all that. And then when they start fucking with the map and ball and stuff, that's hilarious.
I mean, I think we've talked about Achievement Hunter enough because we did go to the second panel on Saturday as well,
Yeah.
which was a bit more.
All they did was they switched out like 4 of the personalities.
Yeah, so we lost because it was Lindsay
Lindsay, Michael, Gavin.
and Ryan on the first.
No, Ryan was on the second one.
Was Ryan on the second? I thought he was on the first.
Yeah, he was on the second one.
Okay.
He was on the Achievement Hunter panel.
Ah, okay.
Was it Jeremy? No, not Jeremy.
You
It
had
was Alfredo.
You had Alfredo. You had Ryan on the second one, and then you had God, what is his name? The one. It wasn't his twin. It wasn't his twin.
Trevor and Alfredo. But they had 2 because the Achievement Hunters is popular. They usually have 2 time slots for their panel.
Which was pretty much the exact same panel, but different questions by the audience. Honestly, they did mix it up, and then
They did say it at the beginning. Hey, this is gonna be the same thing.
how many of you were here at the Achievement Hunter panel yesterday?
Oh, Matt Bragg. Matt Bragg was the other
There
one.
you go. Oh, you guys wasted your time. Thank you, Jeff. But anyway, went to both Achievement Hunter panels,
And then Achievement Hunter, 10 o'clock on Saturday.
yeah, so basically Friday, Saturday was nothing but Achievement Hunter. Lord have mercy. Saturday though,
Saturday was warming up.
while we were at the Achievement Hunter panel, there was a cosplay contest going on, which I felt personally you would have liked, considering you were just going around the entire convention getting pictures with people who were doing cosplay.
Yeah. I did not see the cosplay contest. So.
Yeah, because you didn't download the app, like I fucking told you to.
No, I repeatedly told him the same thing. Because Friday we did Achievement Hunter, and then we did one later. Oh no, the only thing we did on Friday was the Achievement Hunter panel around 2ish.
And then we went to the floor.
Yeah, we went and pretty much explored we did the same thing beforehand. We explored the floor when it was nice and empty.
Yes.
got the Pecos Peak Cup.
It's like freaking night and day
Oh,
going
yeah.
in there before everyone else, and the convention floor is like you're not bumping into people who are sweaty. You're not fighting over getting the attention of the people who are hosting the exhibitions. You're not trying to get the attention of people who are hosting the panels. You just get in there,
Yeah.
and it's like quiet. You're not fighting in the store or anything.
Talk of this unknown place. Where is this place at?
You had the perfect opportunity to get yourself a VIP badge. We asked you to. You chose not to.
I just didn't know what I was walking into first.
And now you do. Now you're requesting one for next year.
Once I walked in, I was with the big old shield. Who's first? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, you had fun with that, didn't you?
I will say this: the weekend plus pass is not worth it. Either go VIP or go with a regular weekend badge.
Yeah, if you don't mind standing in line for like a little while,
Or platinum badges.
Yeah, platinum. Yeah. you don't mind standing in long lines. Yeah, just go with the weekend pass because you're not gonna get to every panel. You're not gonna get to do everything you want to do. So you got to make sure you got everything properly planned out where you want to be, that sort of thing. So we got the convention floor. We walked around for a good. Well, I think we got like 30 minutes before they let everybody else in.
Yeah.
And it was noticeable when they let everybody else in because they were hyping.
Release the horde.
We could hear them because we're sitting there walking the floor. We got our drinks. We started walking around looking at the art, the T-shirts, and then like every 2-3 minutes, you could hear the line. You could hear the Guardians hyping up the line, and like everyone in the convention floor, like all the rest of the guests would sit there like, yeah, here we. And then the closer it got, the louder they got.
And then everyone.
And then all of a sudden, you just feel this rumble coming towards you.
Luckily for me, I'm a sneaky person, so even though when I was one of the last, I ended up being in the second line. That way I was to be close to y'all in the front because I was right in the back, and while everybody's fighting to get into the door, I was already sneaking in through the doors. When one person pushed me, I was like, he pushed me. They don't push another.
You're trying to get people thrown out.
Well, yeah, because it's not that hard. When you're in line and they're telling everyone to condense down and push together. Like I don't know how many people I saw. Like when we were staying in VIP lines, they were just like they were just sitting there walking right up because they were making everybody squish together.
Yeah.
And they were just pushing forward.
No,
they getting to the front, trying to get to the front of the line because they were being unnoticed because everybody was being forced to squish together.
Everybody that was trying to rush it, they were being stopped.
Yeah.
And those who were just like me, that were just trying to walk normally while everybody's being pushed, were being pushed to the front. While everybody's just being aggressive, they were being stopped because you cannot be pushing or you'll be out.
Yeah. Because they were enforcing rules, at least when they caught the people.
Well, so after the Achievement Hunter panel on Saturday, I broke off and went to the Ruby 2 panel because they had the original Ruby panel on Friday, and we missed out on that one. But I went to the Ruby 2, which is like their second one with different people. You had the new producer that they introduced for Ruby, and I know you're not into Ruby, but they also showed you had the voice actors for Blake, Raven, and Weiss there. So, I mean, I know you're not into Ruby, but it was pretty awesome to just watch the voice actors be.
Well, I think I met one of them at the end.
Did you skip the whole VIP party from Friday night?
No, that was after on.
Oh no! You're talking about Sunday.
Sunday night.
Yeah, that was. Oh,
You met one of them Sunday?
Jen Brown.
The girl.
That's who you met, Jen Brown.
Yeah.
Which one is she?
She's a voice actor in Ruby.
But which?
I don't remember. I'm trying to. I'm thinking that's the voice of Cortana.
Anyway.
I'm looking it up for you.
No, you're not looking up for me. You're not looking up for me.
Then why were you bitching?
Because I bitch is what I do.
Exactly.
But no. So I'm at the Ruby 2 panel, and basically the voice actor for Blake, she is bubbly as fuck and just ripping and running all over the auditorium because they had this huge box of swag, just like dolls and pamphlets and books and manga and DVDs in this box. And when people were asking questions,
Jen Brown was the voice of Pyrrha.
there you go. Okay,
Her character's dead.
she is dead. Oh, that is so harsh too. Pyrrha was such a fan favorite, and she's just dead. But that's why she had to go. Blake, the voice actor for Blake's just ripping and running. She's grabbing everything out of the box and just running out in the crowd and dispensing items everywhere. You could have had an opportunity to get some. The panel wasn't completely full.
Well, by the time I met him, met Shadow, you were already over there, and he's in the Ruby. And I'm like, what is that? It's an anime. I'm like,
And see, that would have been a perfect way to introduce you to, because they showed off
Jen Taylor's the voice of Cortana.
She's not working with Rooster Teeth anymore, is she?
She voiced she's voicing the main bad villain, the main villain, the all white one.
She's still doing voice acting with them for Ruby.
As far as I know.
Okay, all right. Like I thought that she had broken off, like the voice actor who was doing Tex for RVB. Yeah, Red vs. Blue. I thought she had broken off too. But no, during the Ruby 2 panel, like they showed off some of the shorts that they're doing for this season coming, and they also showed off some of the trailers for the new Genlock that they're releasing next year, which I'm interested in. It's nothing like having sci-fi.
Well, yeah, because Genlock, they're bringing in a bunch of big names. They're casting a lot of big names. Michael B. Jordan and I think David Tennant.
Yeah, and they showed Michael B. Jordan did the video for fans at RTX. They showed that too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. Where he was sitting there playing, I think it was he was playing Dragon Ball Z. He was playing Dragon Ball video game while talking to us. It was awesome. But after that, we regrouped. And then that's when we went to the Rooster Teeth podcast panel.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah,
live Rooster Teeth podcast. So what for you were the highlights of the Rooster Teeth podcast?
Yeah, the shit story.
Barbara
There was shit on the floor. And then they unraveled the mystery later as to why there was crap on the floor. And the fact that they let off with the Rooster Teeth, what do they call it? Not the myth or whatever, or one of the old bets where JD, Barney's kid, learned to drive. Got a lot. I wouldn't say learned to drive, but got an American license before Gavin Free did.
Yep.
That was hilarious.
That was hilarious. It was the bet that Bernie's son would get a driver's license before Gavin would. That is amazing. Didn't think that would actually come to fruition. Why doesn't he drive anyway? Like, because he legally can't get a driver's license? No, he can get one.
No,
He can legally get a driver's license.
he likes to play around with it a lot, but I think it's like he gets like super serious about it, like deportation, something like that. He doesn't want to wreck and be deported.
Okay, fair.
Because like you can have a wreck, they're not going to deport you over that.
Yeah.
Because it's not even against the current president. He's been like that. He's been like that through all the past ones too. So. As far, but there's times you can tell, like, you don't know if he's necessarily just joking or if he's just kind of like, okay, here's an answer, now go.
Or maybe he's just at this point so used to not driving that it's just what he does. It's just Uber everywhere, or grab a taxi, or have a friend drive you and pick you up.
I don't think we should worry about driving license. Just an experience.
Says the guy who was driving slow to Austin.
But kept forgetting his renewal permit.
I had to go walk back to the hotel because.
For the VIP party.
Yeah. I was one of the second one in line. I showed my ID. It was expired, so I had to go back to the car to get the one paper.
All right, so there was a VIP party on Saturday for
Friday
the
night.
Friday night. Sorry, was it Friday night?
Friday night.
Okay, for the platinum passes, and I gave Venom my platinum pass for that night.
And I appreciate it. It was fun. First bar, I went without getting drunk. I didn't drink at all.
You can remember everything.
Huh?
You can remember everything.
It's not really any time. You're either going to sit there and drink or you're going to sit there and like do autographs.
Well, I mean, that's where you just sit there and buy drinks for the celebrity stars.
And they gave me one for free.
Yeah, one. Yeah, I came with the.
Oh, with the.
I bet you didn't even find the table with all the food on off to the side.
I did. That was what was the girl that said she has gas?
Barbara Dunkelman.
She was next to the door.
So Barbara Dunkelman during the Rooster Teeth podcast
Barbara was in the back right corner, and the food was on the very far left.
She was at the end. She was over down there, in the middle, with where the food was.
Not where you were lined up. No, are you sure it wasn't their food that they had collected and put on the table?
Wait. Are you sure it was Barbara, or were you thinking of Ashley?
No, Ashley wasn't. Ashley was closer to it, but she was right next to the front door when we got the picture.
Okay.
The one who was
Barbara Dunkelman was in the back right corner of the bar because I remember when
That was at first when she was in top.
that was on the first floor.
I like how they're arguing about the position of ladies.
Not get that. That came out wrong.
Continue.
No, I like
Second floor.
because you could probably call out a name and I could tell you where they were in the bar.
Really?
'Cause I was the one-
Remember her name?
Yes, because I was like, hey, that one's that guy. Hey, this one's that girl. Hey, that was that guy.
I
Hey,
don't
this-
even remember.
as you're sitting there jumping from line to line.
This guy was running around in the VIP. There goes my tablet, by the way. Grabbing signatures on this badge. Look at this. Look at this. This is all you.
But it was for you
I know.
because you gave me the experience to go see them,
I wanted you to experience the platinum party. I really did, the VIP party.
and I enjoy it.
I used it as an autograph session.
You see, and
I did not expect him to do that.
Oh, that's what he did as soon as he hit the door.
Yeah, I get to see Matt. Well, Matt
Bryan.
That was the first one I got to see.
Yeah.
It was in the second floor.
Okay. Oh, you got one right. Second floor.
Yeah. Then I wanted to take a picture. With
And then he walked.
Girl, what was her name again?
No, you walked up because while we were sitting there talking, Ryan came in, and he came up the second floor. Then he got his autograph.
Yeah,
real
but
quick.
I was already looking. When first I wanted to take a picture with the girl that was in the second floor, that she ended up going down to the first floor, because I was looking for you in the first floor to get Sharpie. I didn't have a Sharpie, so I ended up getting one of the girls there. I'm like, hey. She had a whole bag of Sharpies. I'm like, hey, I'll give you $5 for one of the Sharpies. I'm like, no, just choose one. Are you sure? I'm like, $5. And she pulled it out. She had like hundreds of Sharpies. No, here. And like, cool. So
yeah, because the only two that I could see from where I was at when we got to the second floor, I could see Ellie and Miles, and then I saw Larry off to the side. He's one of the He's one of the main editors in Achievement Hunter. Those are because the lines were so thick. Those are the only ones I could get close enough to see. And that's when Ryan walked up into the. I think Alfredo was up there too, but when Ryan came walking up there. He stopped right next to me because he started getting swarmed, and then that's when
he's the third one I got.
Yeah, and then that's when Venom walked over and was able to get his thing, and then. As he started getting swarmed, he's like, no, I need more space. And then Ryan's mod entourage, because his Discord mod team and Twitch mod team, like most of them already met up, and they were his little entourage. So they basically just burrowed him a hole all the way over towards where I think where like the dartboards were at, and then that's where he set up shop. And then like after that, it's like it was just too thick. I could tell there were more people up there. You just couldn't get to it because everywhere there was a line, the line would go like the length of the floor.
Yeah, they were.
So I just went back. I just went back down to the first floor. I think because Lawrence was pinned up against the jukebox machine by the staircase.
I got her signature.
Lawrence is in the she.
Huh?
I said Lawrence.
Lawrence is in the she.
Oh.
That's when we just stopped and looked at it, like, what the hell are you talking about?
I mean, no, he's not a she.
Now, you talking about the short girl? The one I pointed out when I was talking about Bernie's down there?
There were 3 girls there.
Yeah, well, there was more than 3 girls, but because there was quite a few voice actresses there too.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Because after he got Ryan's signature and Ryan moved on, I pulled Venom over, pointed down, I go, you see that guy? And then Bernie kept like moving off to the side, like, fuck. And eventually it's like, no, that guy's Bernie.
You see this guy? This guy's Bert.
Like, this one's Bernie. And then at the same time, Ashley came walking in and started like plucking at his eye, like you got something on your face. And I'm pointing at her, like, that one's Ashley. That's his fiance. She's the one that runs the know and blah, blah, blah. And it was before a line had formed. Well, just in the time it took for him, and we were already pretty close to the staircase. By the time he fought his way back down to the stairs, there was already like 4 people in line. They were already starting to line up.
Yeah.
She was already getting swarmed.
And you got plenty of pictures with all these people too.
They got pictures with
Each one of them.
Kovic was still the hilarious one. That was still.
Is that like an act though, or is that just his natural way of being?
What?
Adam Kovic.
Oh no! You should have seen the interaction with him. He was the one being weird.
Why are you being weird with Adam?
Because he was.
I didn't know what to say to that.
Oh my god!
Okay, no.
Let me put it this way. Let me put it. Venom doesn't know artsy personalities. He was, but yet he was on a mission to get as many autographs and pictures with as many of them as possible. So I was pretty much playing point man and going, this is that person, this is that girl, because I'm the one that knows the majority of all the personalities. Like this is this and that. And by the time I finally came back down, because I was on another second floor, it was like a mid floor kind of thing. Because that's where I was waiting for him to show up. Because I was like, we were like one of the first two full lines in before a lot of the personalities started getting. And he got Tyler Coe at the door.
Yeah,
he got that one at the door. So I walked in, looked around, and like, where the hell did Venom go?
Mm-hmm.
And they said like once you leave. Like, you can't come back in, but I think that was for the 20, I think that was for, like, the 20, the underage.
everybody, but I never made it in.
No, later on I heard it was, like, for the underage kids. The other ones that, but like I said, but I didn't know I wasn't going to exit, just in case.
Right.
So I turned around.
Chance, right?
Yeah, so I turned around and looked like, where the hell did Venom go? I'm like, okay, maybe he walked by because they were telling people to move away from the entrance because, you know, the few that were there, they kept trying to clog the damn entrance trying to get autographs. So like, okay, maybe I lost them in the crowd. So I just started walking through. I found a little table. They had a long table of like snacks, chips, salsa, like this giant stack of chicken fingers. And then they had like some finger desserts on the end. And then they handed everybody one ticket for a free drink.
Wow.
But then there was like water, but they had water on the back end. But so I walked through and there's plenty of tables. There's like some dartboards on the second floor. There's a lot of these shuffleboard tables. And then there are a bunch of pool tables. Well, I kept walking around trying to look for them. And like, okay, well, I'm going to pitch up on the second floor, which I thought was the second floor at the time. But it's like a mid-level section between the first and the actual second floor. And it was a floor that they had a whole bunch of pinball machines set up. So I walked up there and, you know, found a pinball machine, just hit start. I guess a lot of them were like free to play pinball. So I just sat there for like a good 30 minutes, like, where the hell is Venom? And eventually eventually start talking and get them on the phone and start communicating. Like, oh, I had to go back and get my paper ID, blah, blah, blah. So they're like, okay, whatever. So I go back to just playing pinball, waiting for him to show up. And then he gets there. He doesn't even say he's there. And then you're like, where are you? Like, well, where are you? Oh, goddamn, here we go. So I sat there and like, well, I'm on the second floor. He's like, okay. And then, you know, another 10, 15 minutes go by. And then it's like, okay, where are you? I'm on the second floor. I'm like, dude, I am on the second floor. Where are you?
I was already in line with Matt.
So he was like, he was already in line with Matt Bragg. So I'm sitting there still playing the pinball. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go walk around. So I finally, you know, go down. I gotta go to the restroom. Go run to the restroom where I run into Bruce in the bathroom. Leave, and on the way out, I see.
You ran into Bruce in the bathroom, did you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me tell you, I walked up like, "Hey man, how you doing?" Yeah. Yeah, proper bathroom etiquette.
Bruce starts telling us a story about this drunk guy he met at the bar.
Yeah, except I'm not drunk.
Yeah, he doesn't drink.
But I left him alone because you're in the restroom. You just don't do that in the restroom.
Proper bathroom etiquette.
So I walked out.
No talking while you're peeing.
Yeah, so I walked out. Well, no, we weren't peeing next to each other. It was just like I was washing my hands as he walked in or whatever. Anyways, walked out. I saw one of the Sugar Pine 7 personalities. Well, I think it's the girl. I don't know her name. I'm not highly familiar with them, but that's who Bruce is dating right now.
Oh.
He's dating her, I believe. And then I saw Blaine, one of the directors, or AKA Clayton. Saw him back towards one of the tables. And I saw Barbara over in the back corner. I saw John Reisinger posted up in the middle of that area.
Mm.
Adam Kovic was just behind him. Josh was just behind him. I saw Chris, a.k.a. the intern. walking. He was mobile. He was walking around, surprising. Everyone else had already been pinned down to a line.
Mm-hmm.
And here he is, like fishing in and out, like walking freely. But I walked up to the second. Eventually, found my way to the second floor. Walked because everything was clogged up to hell. Walked up there, looked around, walked a little bit in, posted up next to the banister, kind of looked around. Then that's when I turned around, looked behind me, and Venom was sitting right there in the line. Like, oh, finally found his ass. And even then, it was still 10 something minutes, 10, 15 minutes later. He was like the fourth person, like up to Matt Bragg, 4 people. And it still took him about 10, 15 minutes before like the 3 people in front of him cleared out.
Well, everyone's got to take their time
Oh,
to get the
yes,
experience
yes,
with the person.
I will probably be the fastest.
Yeah.
It even took me a minute with them. Hi, how you doing? I know you'll be.
Yeah,
Can
'cause
I
he-
get an autograph and a picture.
Yeah, because
with you?
Venom was
He's very considerate with people's time.
Oh, no, just not because he didn't know them. He was just like, this is a personality. This is okay. I'm gonna get an autograph and I'm gonna get a picture. So his bit was basically like, wait, oh, you're busy. Just let me get your autograph and your picture real quick,
No,
and
but I also
I'll be on my way. You'll be on your way. This and
I
that.
also had another issue at that moment. Since Friday, my stomach was upset.
So aren't you glad I told you to pick up those Topo Chicos?
Yes. So when I went to, we ate in the morning. I was running like to the restaurant often. So every time I had to hold the line, I was holding not just
How
the line.
was your RTX experience?
How was your RTX experience? You see what the fuck I got to deal with here? Is he what I fucking have to deal with here? Like, he's fine.
Yeah, because it was hilarious because we were sitting right there at HEB doing
That was the first 2.
just doing our shopping. Whenever we walked by we're on the water aisle. I saw the bottles of Topo Chico, and I remember he usually tells me he drinks Topo Chico to either quickly digest whatever he ate or to help settle the stomach. So like, so just jokingly, I just go ahead and grab a bottle just in case. He's like, eventually I talked him into buying a couple bottles, and sure enough, he needed them. It's like he had an upset stomach. But
This dorkFish podcast sponsored by Topo Chico.
But
so
that was only the first 2. After the third one, like I said, everybody was cool. All the RTX people were cool, and they were giving me time to talk to them, whatever question I had. But like,
that's what was.
it was.
That's
nice
what
to see
was
you.
hilarious.
You're busy, they're killing me, and the guy like, no, it's okay.
Because
Because
he-
you talk. I'm like, I know you're busy. They already look at me like, gonna kill me. I was like, please don't say anything else so I can leave. No offense. I mean,
No,
I like y'all.
because he literally walked up to every one of them and goes, hi, how you doing? I know, he gave him the spiel. I just want your autograph in a picture. You're busy. We're going to keep the line moving. Every single person, it went pretty smoothly with. Except for when he got to Adam Kovic. He got up to Adam Kovic. And Adam Kovic's, he's a really nice guy. He's intelligent. He'll talk all kinds of things with you. So when Venom got up to the front, I was sitting off to the side because I was one. This is Josh. He's one of their top writers. This is this one's Adam Kovic, and because he was in what's line, and I said that's when he went and jumped on that line. I was sitting off at an empty table, just sitting there watching him. So he gets up to Adam Kovic and gives him that same spiel, like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? You're just gonna be real quick, get your autograph and anything because you're really busy." And this is what Adam literally did. So Venom is trying to walk away after getting the autograph, and Adam's doing it. No, you got something. He's sitting there pulling him back, like, "No, man, you don't have to go. You got something to talk about. We can talk. We're here. And Venom.
I don't want to interrupt.
I don't know if I'm still in frame or whatever, but both were saying the camera is me.
Okay.
Then both of our backs are to the camera.
Okay.
And Venom is literally doing this, and Adam Kovic's pulling him back in.
Come back.
He's like, no, you can talk. We can stay for a few minutes. And it's like, no, it's good.
I do apologize for that.
After a while,
like I said,
Adam ever walked.
it was completely harmless. But the way Venom was acting, it was like he was up to something.
It was just
because he always is. You shifty motherfucker.
I just wanted a picture and an autograph.
That's all he wanted because he did not know what he was doing. He did not know the
every single
personality.
person he got to, they had something to talk about, something about
Yeah.
his video, something about what he did. I was like, what did I have to talk about? I don't know him. I know
And
he's
that's why he's like, that's why he kept like, no, he's like, no, it's okay.
At the end, I had
like,
to,
don't
at
be
the
shy.
End, at the end, I had to create something. I was like, my first time for RTA, it was great job y'all doing it. I'm like, okay, what do you like most about it? I'm like, I know you're busy.
I'm just sitting here watching it like as Venom's trying to like pull away and Kobe just keeps pulling him back in. It was hilarious.
When the main questions came in, I was like, okay.
It was great. So like I said, you need to brush up on all the content.
You do. All you gotta
I
do,
will.
you have a smartphone. Download the Rooster Teeth app,
Which group?
and you can just watch.
Which group did Adam Kovic belong to?
It was nice meeting him, though.
Anyway, as we've been sidetracked by the VIP.
And
It was a great party.
actually, this is where it ties back in
Okay,
to the RT podcast.
Okay.
Where Venom, I think, well, I don't know if it was the last one. I don't know if you went to try to go get John Reisinger because he was right next to Adam Kovic, but the line went off in the other direction. But I think the next line you jumped in was Barbara's. I want to say it was Barbara Dunkelman's line. But by the time I left the party, it was like 11:30. I was just sitting there. I decided, like, we're going to have an early start for the morning. So I was going to go ahead and jet. And then I went over and found Martina in the line. Oh, yeah, and people were sitting there looking at me like, I was like, I'm just saying bye. And so I told him, like, I'm going to leave for the night. You're going to be all right, this and that. But he was like probably like 5-6 people back before meeting Barbara. And then that's when on the RT podcast, she was apologizing for basically crop dusting her fans.
The entire night.
The entire night she was pretty much gassy. Well, Venom has something he would like to admit to.
I was doing the same.
The entire time the next day, because I didn't know about any of this because I didn't go to the VIP party. I gave him the pass.
You see, but that was an accident. Like I said, my stomach was upset. Now, each guy was taking 5 to 10 minutes to talk to her. I had to let one go. So the moment I let one go, everybody's crowded, I let one go. The guy leaves. And she looks at me, and I'm like, okay. And
I got deer in headlights.
I'm like, if I walk over there, I'm going to take you with me.
But that doesn't at least make you feel a little bit better.
So, wait. So,
training sniffs.
Yeah, like, was that situation where you guys just locked eyes and you're both thinking the exact same thing? Oh, God, I hope it doesn't smell what I just lit.
No, I don't think she noticed it. I hope she didn't.
And she was probably thinking the exact same thing. Oh, who doesn't realize that?
Well, no, and then she had already said that she would been crop dusting, so she was hoping people weren't noticing. But she was apologizing that she had been doing
I did stop for a second when the guy was walking because I let one go. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna let a little one, those silent ones. And then
when
I
you
don't know
think
where
of the
the guy,
silent and the loud boom,
the guy that was taking long talking to her decides to leave, and I'm like,
he could have taken just another minute.
and she looks, and I'm like, hi.
Oh, that was awesome.
Oh, God.
That's how it ties back into the RT.
Good job. It's a great segue. Went all the fuck way through the VIP party, then way back.
Gotta get that VIP in there. Gotta
So
get
I
that
did
vibe.
feel comfortable when she said she was having the same issue. So when she said, like, got you. No problem. I understand.
Let me go ahead and get out of line so the next person can come up. Right?
I feel more
There's a
sorry for
pleasure
the people
meeting.
that were behind me because there were like 10 people still waiting in a line behind me.
Oh yeah, well all of them had pretty sizable lines.
Yeah.
Like I said, the lines are crazy because some people spent all night just doing that. Literally jumping from line to line. I remember Shannon McCormick was there. He's one of the voice actors. He's one of like the contract people they bring on to do a lot of their stuff.
Right.
Tall, bald guy.
Yeah.
I think he voices Washington from Red vs. Blue.
Okay.
I saw him walking around. He's like, it took a while, but he walked up, got a plate of food, tried to go get a cup of water, and he's just in there eating, kind of like keeping down. And as soon as he looks up, there's a guy like, and you could tell he hadn't eaten because he had like 3 or 4 chicken fingers. He was trying to scarf down real quick. But once he kind of like stood up and started looking around, and a couple of people started walking up to him, but he They didn't get it nearly as bad as like the other RT personalities. They had long lines. And then it was kind of funny that they were spread out everywhere else. But like there was this part of the back room where they had a few pool tables set up in the pinball area where I was at. Like no RT people whatsoever. They were posted up everywhere else except like that little area.
Well, you were saying you thought it was planned where their areas were that they.
Yeah, it kind of looked that they at least decided like where they were gonna like first floor, because like when Ryan came in, he shot straight for the second floor, and they were all kind of spaced out. They were it looked like they were trying to space out just enough until like the lines like grew, so then that's kind of like where they stopped. But to a point, it looked like that's where they were at least kind of like. They at least had like a little plan of an area of where they were going to post up for the evening. Oh yeah, and then Trevor was over there back there. He was back where Barbara was at too. He was kind of in between some tables. He disappeared later.
So if you really want an opportunity at getting a bunch of autographs, it's basically just go to the platinum parties or the VIP parties.
Yeah, because unlike past years, this bar actually it had a lot more room than the other ones did in the previous years, where you were like I think it was the Speakeasy and then the Market before that, where it was just wall to wall people. It was just so packed. They kind of find out they actually had a Saturday night. They had an industry party at the Market. I found that because some of the others had tweeted about it, so they had a whole other. It wasn't the platinum party, but it was the industry party Saturday night at the Market.
Gotcha.
That's kind of funny though.
So after the RT podcast, we went to the On the Spot Live.
Yeah, pretty much got circled right around, exited, and have to come all the way back in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Same convention
area.
room.
Yeah.
They wouldn't just let you just sit there and just enjoy the time because you literally.
And you took off early from the RT podcast to get in line.
Yeah, because he was bored. He got bored of it.
Did you get bored of the RT podcast?
Yeah, you told me that you got bored because they were just sitting there talking and you were falling asleep.
Most of the panels are just them sitting there talking. What do you think we're doing right now? We're sitting here talking.
It's different.
He's in front of the camera.
It's just not because it was boring. It's just I did not understand everything they were doing. Remember, I do not know them.
True. There's a lot of
references. So everything they were saying, everybody understood what they were saying. They were laughing, and I'm like, it makes no sense. What is they saying? So I'm over here in Google. Okay, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So they're already talking about different things, and I'm like, you know what? I need to see them first before I start seeing the.
Because a lot of the podcasts is them kind of like doing like a weekly to weekly update, like just telling you stories of life experiences.
But that was the only one I walked out early.
That does raise a good point, though. Like, as someone who's never experienced Rooster Teeth, let alone seeing the Rooster Teeth podcast or seeing those personalities before, like Barbara and Gus.
And like I said,
Bernie.
Everybody knew. Everybody was talking. Even the guy that was right next to me was telling me all the things they do. They're waiting for achievement hunters, their new projects, and I'm like, yeah. And I'm over here talking about. You're not trying to make a conversation with anybody that we're talking about.
Anyway, so we're at the On the Spot Live panel.
Yeah, for everybody, what was that the highlight for pretty much everybody was the On the Spot game?
I would say that was the second highlight for me. Out of the entire RTX podcast, or the RTX convention, the second one that I liked was the On the Spot. That was great.
Yeah, I think on the Spot was pretty fucking hilarious.
Yeah, they interacted with the crowd heavily. They were funny. I mean,
oh yeah, they gotta have that crowd. They have to have that crowd interaction because the crowd's right there.
And the highlight of the show was when Chris's dad was on stage,
and nobody knew.
Nobody knew. That is a perfect dad joke.
Wait, that was for that one.
That was after the one where you left early. You were there for the On the Spot. Yeah. We saw you because you were directly in the center behind. I was like, "Where are you?" And you kind of stood up.
Oh yeah, and I do still from that was funny. Oh, that was funny. I like that one, especially.
So, like in the middle of
Chris's dad just like
because it was in the middle of the segment that he said for the game they need to get someone who speaks two languages, a good dad joke,
Mm-hmm.
and
A full team of Ruby.
Yeah.
Then there's been pretty much a full team of cosplay, and then John Reisinger lookalike.
Yeah. And you would have been absolutely perfect for someone.
I was raising my hand and I stand myself up, but they chose the people that were like 5, 6 in front of me, those 2 girls. And the girl said everything wrong. I mean, she said it right, but not the whole thing that he wanted it to translate.
So here's your opportunity now.
I need to hear him again.
Was it like something like
John Reisinger, like John is a beautiful boy.
John is a beautiful boy. John es un niño bonito. And she said John is something chulo.
Yeah, I heard chulo too. Like, it didn't sound right.
It's still pretty, but
like a slang.
she never said boy.
Is it like a slang term?
She never said niño.
it just says John is beautiful?
John is hot.
That doesn't sound
Oh,
correct at
in
all.
other words,
I was trying to make the
John is
Uh,
hot.
That does not sound like what he asked for at all.
And I was,
Battle Buddies got screwed.
and me, I was like, wait, that was not the whole translation. He asked for there were like 5 things in the word of English that he asked for to translate. But she probably got nervous
Yeah, that's where John's point
because I would have got nervous too, and I was like,
Suddenly forget the language.
forget the language of them.
Yeah, but I definitely say On the Spot was one of the highlights. Nice and funny. Crowd interaction. How long was that team of? There was like literally a full team of Ruby standing off to our right, screaming while they're still sitting there looking for a full team.
Well, yeah, they're running around trying to find a full team of Ruby cosplayers, and the front row in front of us, because we were in the second row directly with them, and they're like, "There's a team right here. There's a team right over here." And then they finally realize, oh, they're pointing over. No, there's Ruby cosplayers there, and they go running off the crowd.
They've already ran by him like 3 or 4 times at that point too.
And we met the Weiss that went on stage, the girl with the silver hair back in the hotel later that night, and you took a picture with her.
And we took a picture with her.
Yeah, but they have a full, like a cosplay team. It's not just a bunch of random people. We're a full coordinated team ready to go.
Yeah.
Like, what are the chances of that? Just like,
Oh, they didn't have
third row
Blake.
back. They didn't have.
They didn't have Blake.
She was in the bathroom.
Yeah, bro.
Hey guys, you couldn't.
Where'd everybody go? That was definitely one of the highlights.
And then
I did think the Battle Buddies got screwed out of the scoring system though.
It's okay. It's okay. They got their pay.
Oh yeah, they got their pay.
Like what you have
That's
to
what they
explain
went.
to me.
That's what they were there for, anyways.
Yeah. Do you think it was planned? You think that was scripted and planned?
That
Or
was
they stole the trophy. Sorry.
That was one thing I wanted to ask Rab. I forgot to ask him about that. Because he always makes it a habit of trying to do something to the Golden Gus.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he's on, he always tries to do something to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like this time, I think this time he stole it. Other times he messes with it. He try to wear it fall apart, but this time he walked off the stage with it and stole it. It basically is kind of like the consolation prize, for not winning on the spot.
Well, especially considering that's the last one they're going to do for that particular segment.
Yeah, for that, the season's over, so they'll be on like a 4 or 5 week break, and then they'll bring it back.
Right. Oh man.
And then all the kissing.
That's the whole point of the on the spot. John Reisinger is just
on the spot is John Reisinger's dating game.
He wants a perfect
Specifically for
opportunity.
him.
Yeah, to kiss every man in Rooster Teeth.
Yeah.
He's just going through every man in Rooster Teeth. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that little romper.
Ended on a high note on Saturday. And then Sunday morning, last day, got with a bang. Got to see one of my favorite panels, Heroes and Half-Wits. I love Heroes and Half-Wits. That was not my favorite panel. I'd say third favorite, but it's still I fucking love Heroes and Half-Wits.
Do you actually watch the show?
Unfortunately, no, I don't have time.
Watch it in the background.
I do. Like, I don't watch it all the way through, but I try and capture like episodes when I have time every once in a while. It's like
Was that one the one with the devils or the one with
because
the
you have
Hulk?
to.
Dice rolling.
Oh, okay.
The one with the Hulk?
No, that was on the spot.
Oh, that was the spot.
Yeah, we've already ended that night. Now we're on the Sunday.
Okay, so
You were at the Heroes and Halfwits panel where they had the dice and they kept
Yeah.
rolling fuck.
And then they ended up getting rid of those dice because that's all they were rolling.
I feel like
I think they were weighted that way.
yeah, they were weighted to roll on fuck
Yeah.
most of the time. That's probably why
That's
they
why
kept
they were
rolling it.
constantly rolling twos and fucks.
They're gimmick dice.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, like
I think you just pretty much just lost your money, Gus. I think you got tricked into buying those. Because the amounts that y'all were rolling fucks and twos, I think that was specifically weighted to roll just so you could see your. But again, you were at the beginning. You did say that you kind of wanted to see a little bit more fucks because they got those dice.
and you got what you asked for.
Yep.
You really did.
And then he started handing them out like candy, all as soon as they could.
I honestly wanted one of those dice.
Yeah, but you needed a good question.
Well, that plus considering where we're positioned, there's no way I could have made it to the fucking
Oh yeah,
microphone.
yeah.
Nah.
I know.
oh, well,
And what question would you have asked if you had got to the microphone?
got no idea. Normally, I would have just stand up and I would say, "Hi, hi." Walk away. That's it.
At the least, you
I'll be
probably would have
happy with
walked
that.
up there and go, "Hey, can I have one of those dice?"
What alignment do you think he would be in
Oh.
D&D?
D&D.
Chaotic something. I just can't figure out if you'd be chaotic neutral or chaotic good.
Yeah, neutral. He'd be a bard.
First, I need to explain what's a D&D.
Anyways, back to battle. Before we get too sidetracked.
Definitely chaotic neutral.
Okay.
But yeah.
I like the fact that Frank opened it up with spoiler warning. You don't want spoilers. Please leave the panel now.
I feel like Frank, during that panel, because it was at 10 in the morning, Frank was the only one who had coffee and was perky. Everyone else seemed like they were dragging ass.
He loves the convention. He loves being on that side of the convention.
Yeah.
He loves that experience. Because he especially after it was over, whenever I saw him, he was constantly just standing around like a group of fans, and they were just chatting, just having
taking pictures, yeah.
taking pictures, just having just normal conversations.
Yeah.
Like even at the end of off topic later on when everybody was leaving, he was still standing there having a conversation with like another fan.
It was like a mini break or a little mini vacation for him.
So he has the time of his life there. He's a great guy. So
Yeah, but definitely seemed like he was the perky one. He did a really good job, and he always does a good job on the show trying to make sure.
and that's the only panel he's on.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have more energy than the other ones that are running from panel to panel.
Exactly. Well, Griffin was on the convention for most of the time, and she's doing her thing.
Yeah, she's carved up the blocks of wood.
Right,
So, yeah,
which
she's
is
actually working.
a lot of energy being expelled doing that. Yeah, I feel like she could probably bench press all three of us, honestly.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. I feel like she could.
Maybe you.
Well, everyone can bench press me. That's not that hard to do. But nevertheless,
I could do one verse words.
highlights of the Heroes and Halfwits panel. I don't know why I'm looking at you.
Look at what
You don't even know what it is, man.
Nah,
For you, what was the highlights of the Heroes and Halfwits panel?
well, yeah, it wasn't really too much of a highlight. It was mostly just kind of like the jokes that were being thrown back and forth, and the fact that they had to speed up. They had that time issue, and they had to speed up the story of the game that they were playing, only to find out that the guy, whoever was controlling the panel room, came back and told them just to keep going.
Yeah.
After they had already finished the story.
They wrapped it up real quick. It's like,
Yeah, because they had it slotted for that hour and a half. They had that stagehand come out and tell them that they only had an hour, and they were sitting. You could see it on the video where they sat there and had to talk to him about it. So then the guy left, and then they quickly had to come up with a way to end the story that they were trying to tell for that the game. And then as soon as they were finishing up the game, because I really don't think that panel controlled and exploded as much as it was supposed to.
No,
I think that was just an element that they used to speed up the story. And then after they finished the game, then the guy comes back out and tells them, "Oh, well, just keep going until they cut you off." which ended up giving them the full hour and a half that they were originally allotted for. So they ended up filling up the last 30 minutes with a Q&A.
Well, they
No,
could have kept
'cause-
going for that story for a full hour and a half. There was a lot they could draw out on that, get a few more rounds in. I don't think it was planned to be rushed. Because they legitimately said that they had
Well, it was just
enough
supposed to-
action with the light.
Well, it was just supposed to be a boss fight. That was what that hour and a half was supposed to be, was that boss fight.
Oh, consider how much
It
time
ended
they
up being
fucked
a
up
fight
the
with the
boss.
cable. At the end, it ended up being a fight with the cable. I
Yeah.
think the cable was the main
Because they thought the cable was the weak point, so they kept going for it. But because the dice,
Everybody's going to
Technically, the cable is a weak point, but they kept targeting that instead of targeting the machine. I was like, why don't you just target
Even
the
become
machine?
a
It's a lot bigger,
satellite.
easier to hit.
He became a
Michael turned into a fucking satellite.
Yeah, it sounded like.
You're Diddy Ross, fuck!
And then he lands, and then in order to keep the rest of the party from getting hurt, Frank decides that he lands on one of the NPCs.
Oh, God.
Well, you should just try to hit him as a satellite again. All right.
Now,
There we go.
They ever destroyed the cable, or is the cable still there?
No, they ended up. I think it was Ryan or
Ryan.
someone ended up blowing up the console that he was going to hack, and destroyed the console, and then that short circuited the system. And
Gus was able to eventually hit the cable, but it only like exposed the wiring and melted the outside coating. It didn't actually break the cable. And then Ryan, like you were saying,
Ryan was going for the console.
yeah, he finally said, "All right, screw this. I'm going for the console."
Because it was biting and couldn't bite it.
After, of course, he was confused. He would have gone for it early, but he was confused for 2 rounds.
Yeah, he couldn't act. Yeah.
Well, everybody get confused after they take the money away, man.
Oh yeah. I still have the credits.
Wait, can I use my move? Gus, like, can I use my move now? Yeah. I was like, I want to transfer funds. Transfer credits.
And all you did was put them right back in. You gave them right back to Ryan.
Yeah.
And all he has to do is transfer them back right before they body switch again.
If he remembers to do so.
Yeah, that's true.
So you see, I did pay attention to that.
I didn't say you didn't pay attention. I'm saying, did you understand it and follow it through?
Pieces. One of the pieces where everybody was arguing or getting confused, I was confused with them, but I was understanding the confusion.
Yeah.
We were all confused with that.
Yeah. So yeah.
Because they get swapped bodies.
Yeah. Then you also know, well, you probably didn't, depending on how much you watched the series, but Ryan was wearing Gus's shirt, Gus was wearing Ryan's shirt, Griffin was wearing Michael's jacket, and Michael was wearing a dress. Just to symbolize that he was in a female's body.
Right. Which he conveniently destroyed.
Yeah. Turned him into the sun.
Now,
So
for me, that's a spoiler alert because I haven't even seen the first one.
Dude,
Well,
they're like in the 3rd season.
Yeah, they're on an entirely different campaign than
Yeah.
what they start with.
Okay.
They started with like a classic D&D kind of campaign where it's actually like wizards and rogues and all that.
Which honestly,
And then they actually got to this season where they actually wanted to tell a sci-fi story,
Mhm,
which is what they originally pitched when they came to Heroes and Halfwits.
exactly.
But they had to start off with the classic D&D stuff first.
Because most of the people who were on the panel, I think only Gus and Frank and Jeff originally had played D&D.
No, Griffin. Griffin was in that group too.
But did Griffin play D&D before then?
She was in that group.
Okay. I'm sorry. So Griffin as well had played D&D. So everyone else on that panel are new to it, like you are, and so
Yeah, just Ryan and Michael.
you'd be able to follow it, get used to it and see how it works.
Okay.
I mean, it's a great game to play. It's
As
great.
long as everyone's playing by the rules.
Sometimes even when you're not playing by the rules, it's fun.
Okay, depending on who you're playing with.
True. Depending on who your DM is. Because it really depends on if your DM's going to be there to like, okay, I'll let that slide,
Yeah,
or
Angel.
versus where.
I remember that
Yeah,
D&D
rules are-
experience.
Fuck
Having
that guy.
rules is
No,
not,
exactly.
Fuck that guy. He
But,
doesn't be a DM.
the rules are not good. You should never have rules, especially the difficult ones.
Anyway,
Yeah. But yeah, that whole panel was pretty good. It was nice and entertaining. They actually playing a game. keeps you up.
As opposed to the introduction from 2016 Heroes and Halfwits panel, where it was like, maybe next year we should try and play a game instead of like just introducing our idea to you.
Yeah,
guys.
talking about it and all that. Yeah, because after that panel flushed out, me and Venom went up. We eventually got a picture with Ryan, and Frank was there for the longest time. Because I was the last person to get with Ryan because his guardian was like, okay, we're running out of time. We need to get you to the next part or whatever. And then we went, we were going to go over there to Frank, but he still had a large group of people around him, so we just just kept on walking.
So for a lot of them, that's probably the only opportunity to get with Frank again, like you said, because that's the only panel he's really.
And then
on.
eventually after that, and they set up for the panel that you went into, the ladies of Rooster Teeth, the RT.
The women of Let's Play.
The women of Let's Play.
So, and that was a panel
Because then from there they moved Frank just on the outside of the panel. He was on the outside of that convention door, still talking with like a group of people.
Yeah.
And like I said, me and Venom went back to walking around. I had asked Ryan about the Twitch meetup, it was just pretty much another autograph chance for
session.
people, for people. So I just walked up to him again. He recognized me because it had only been like a little over an hour. He was like, hey, hi, I just came to see what things were going on or whatever.
Like, hey, you again? Are you following me?
And then he wasn't following. No. He didn't ask that. He's just like, you again? He's just like, you again? Like, yeah, I just came to see what. Yeah, I asked you about the Twitch meetup, so I just decided I'd come over and just see what was going on, see if it was any what was going on, and then they had his mods had a little book for everybody to sign or whatever, and they took a picture, but I was already well on our way to the off-topic panel,
right?
So I didn't stay for the picture. I looked at the time, how long it was taking, because people were, once again, they'd get up to the front. They'd sit there and talk for X amount of minutes, getting their time in, and then the moms were sitting there like, okay, people, let's get a move. We can all sit around and talk with them afterwards. The quicker everyone gets their autographs and their pictures, the more time we'll have to mix and mingle and do all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I didn't stay for that. I went up there and just said my hi, introduced myself. I'm like, I'm gonna, in the sake of time, I'm just gonna go ahead and get out of everyone's way. And he's like, he just sat there and chuckled. He's like, okay.
You just pulled the Venom.
Yeah, he was like, well, they had already announced because he was already like 5-6 minutes late to his own meetup because he's being rushed around.
Yeah, I feel like
so. And then
pretty much at every damn panel.
Yeah, and then the mods had already announced. His mod group had already announced, "Hey, we're running short on time. We've only got this room for a limited time, so if we could speed it up any way we can." So that's why I walked up there and just, hey, we already met. I just introduced myself again, blah blah blah. And I thought, well, for the sake of time, I'm just gonna go ahead and get out of the way, give everybody else a little bit more time. He just sat there and chuckled, like, all right, and then went to the next person in line. Because that's all he was in mode for. Cause the only people he actually sit there and have a little bit longer conversation with are the people in the room that he already knew. But most of the other people that he didn't really know, he just kind of like signed them off. He'd listen to them a little bit, and then the next person, that kind of thing.
He was in full celebrity mode.
Yeah. And then like I said, then we took off to tried to get up with the off topic. So I immediately left. I signed the book and then took off to go get to the off topic panel.
Oh man, I rendezvoused with you guys, and that was a hoot in and of itself because the crowd was so thick before the off topic panel because it was the last panel of the convention. And so that line was stretched all the way down the convention.
And off topic's one of the most popular, at least by the size of the group that would not disperse. It was by far the most popular panel.
Had the people on the freaking escalator just going around and around because
Oh,
they're trying
God,
to
yeah.
time perfectly.
On top of that, they were teenagers.
Were they teenagers? They look like they're in their 20s.
Upper teens, lower 20s, something around there.
Hey. Well, I went to the Women of Let's Play panel after the Heroes and Halfwits. And I know you guys didn't join me, but I was sitting directly behind Adam Kovic and James Williams. And the panel in and of itself was not necessarily planned up until Saturday. It was like Saturday at least had this idea in her mind. She was like, okay, I want to have a panel of just Women of Let's Play. And so she just threw this together and had 6 women come on, and Lindsay was there, and it was awesome. It was very wholesome, very genuine, and I enjoyed it immensely. I think my favorite panel on the entire thing. It was a small group. I think the amount of people that are in there
because it was like an impromptu.
It was impromptu, and Elise seemed like so nervous behind the mic on stage. Like
she probably was the one that planned it. So she was nervous about how it was going to go off.
Exactly, and it like I said, it wasn't big. It was literally everyone in that room.
You got it on recording. Yeah, he's got it on recording, so you can check it out on the YouTube channel.
There you go.
And eventually it'll probably be posted to RT too. So
I remember I was looking at one of the comments on the YouTube channel, and someone was like, "Is that Ryan that I hear?" And I was like, "No, that's not Ryan. That's probably Adam or James that you're hearing." Because they're literally like the camera, the recording is right now is right here, and then Adam's head is like right there. That's it. Camera's here. Adam's head is there.
So you're actually listening to James and Adam talking back and forth.
Yeah. Oh god. And it was nice to see. Like, it wasn't just Adam and James too. They had like. Ashley was next to him.
Yeah, because usually that front row right there in front of the stage is filled up with personalities if they show up.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what the thing. Like the entire front row was filled with personalities from Funhouse, Screw Attack, Rooster Teeth, and Cow Chop. Because the 6 ladies and Achievement Hunter, the 6 ladies were from each one of those. So it was a full house of personalities. It was nice to just see them kind of decompress from it all. Like at the beginning, no, I'm serious. Like,
is it kind of like a grieving panel?
No, like
our grievances.
It's that thing of you're bombarded by everyone throughout these 3 days, right? And then finally, it's just like you're not being bombarded, and you're just like just chill, and that's all it does. It's just seeing them just relax and chill.
Yeah, because the last day already.
Well, it's the last day already.
Well, then they probably saw that the room wasn't filled with a bunch of screaming fans, so they were just like, we could probably just chill and take a little bit more of a slower pace.
Well, after 2 days of screaming.
And that's exactly what it was, yeah. Like, honestly, because the room was so small, the only 3 people really that got bombarded was Ashley, James, and Adam. And they didn't even realize that the personalities were there until the guy sitting behind me said, "Hey, can you get these guys to sign the poster for me?" And I was like, "All right." So I hand the poster to him. I was like, "I'm sorry. Can you sign this real quick?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, sure, man." And he's like, "You got a Sharpie?" And I was like, "You got a Sharpie?" And he just handed me the Sharpie. I'm just this carrier just like transporting items between this guy
you had to do that in 2015 too.
Did I?
Yeah, for the girl that was in the electric.
Oh my god! Yeah, I was thinking about that before we went there too. And that was because there was a
that was for Matt Holm,
which I missed. I'm sorry, I'm sad I missed his panel. I really wanted to see the Meet the CEO panel with him, but that conflicted with one of the other panels we went to. But
said at any time y'all could have gone to any of the panels you wanted to go to.
Yeah, I know, but it's that situation where you got all these panels and they're all that you want to see, but they're all going at the same time. That's why you got to plan things out. But no, until they realized, because I was handing the thing up to Adam, then suddenly there's a bit of a crowd starting to form. But again, it's so few people there. It's like it wasn't that much of pressure for those guys, and they could just literally just sit back for a little bit. And I thought it was genuine and awesome, personally.
No, well, you're the one that was there.
Yeah, yeah. I felt so lonely. But anyway,
I had a Twitch meetup to get to.
Yeah, that was until after. Yeah, because I got out of the Let's Play, and then I met up with you.
Well, that's because me and Venom hung around to get the Ryan signature, so I can get a picture with them. Me and Ryan were still kind of sitting there like, did he take the picture yet? I don't know. Hey, Venom, did you take the picture yet?
I was acting like I didn't take the picture in my finger.
All right, so we were at the off-topic panel. The off-topic podcast.
That was a pain to get into.
I told you to time it though.
Yeah, we did. We did time it.
We timed it went down, and as soon as it hit on the 25 mark, it takes us about 4 or 5 minutes to get back to those front doors and halt hall one that we were talking
We
about.
got pretty close, and they opened it up like a minute early.
And then one of the Guardians went by, and I was like, "Hey, we have."
And that was that was after we were already sitting there fighting in the crowd for a little bit.
Yeah, you know, but I was telling the Guardian we had the platinum passes. Do we stay in this big line or do we get into the right-hand doors like we had been on the previous days? Because normally they would pull the platinum out the line and they go through. It's like, no, you guys are just going to have to stay there because there's already a line aside for the platinum badge. I was like, I see people right there with platinum badges holding them up because they can't get in. And you're telling me that you're not going to do the same thing you guys have been doing for the past 2 days? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then eventually one of the other Guardians...
Yeah, they came back and started pulling people out of line.
Exactly. Oh, my God. And you got in, thankfully. So you at least got to see the... And you got to see him drink. All right, you've had Four Loko before.
Four Locos, yes.
Yeah.
I had. Why?
How trash do you think they were on stage? Like, honestly. Because
do you think they were playing a little bit, or do you think they were actually the alcohol was actually affecting them?
I think alcohol got them.
I've had Four Locos too, and basically one can of Four Locos is like drinking a six pack. I was trying to explain that to you, but you're like, I don't care.
Because I don't drink.
Yeah. So it's like when he pulled out a can of Four Loko, I instantly had a face of regret, and I was like, "Oh my God!"
Oh yeah, it's been like the Four Loko thing has been like a a bit of theirs for like the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Oh God. Those things are not fun.
Jeremy towards the end.
He went 2 cans in. He went 2 cans in. I was like, my God.
Hey Jeremy, how you doing?
No.
And once again, it was a good like I said, it's just off topic. It's just a good thing of like the good old boys, the good old group, just hanging around the table, sharing drinks and telling stories and sharing experiences.
And then we had the announcement of Lindsay.
Yeah, Lindsay and Michael. They're already expecting their second child.
Yeah. And the entire time I'm at the RTX convention, when I seen her, I was like,
she's not drinking.
No, it's not that she's not drinking. She has that look.
She has that glow.
She has the glow and the figure of someone who's expecting it. And I was like, is she? No, she couldn't be. I was like, no. And then I was like, sure enough, yeah. Because I was like,
I think Gavin's psychic ability. For some reason, just Lindsay and Lindsay alone can tell when Lindsay is pregnant. That's hilarious.
I didn't do it. You look at me like...
Oh, we're just letting you see if you have an
like,
opinion.
Well, I was about to ask you, well, overall, did you enjoy the RTX experience? Not if you had passed gas or not, jackass.
I checked it right now, but I didn't hear you gonna say that. No, I'm just playing.
Saw the milk. He's lactose intolerant.
Yes, I am.
No, seriously?
No.
Anyway.
Yeah, but overall, it's a great experience. It's over before you know it.
Sadly.
Just like I said, it started off slow as we traveled. We got into town. We picked up our stuff. We met fans. We talked with fans here and there.
Yeah.
We had our late night dinner. Go to bed. It's pretty much a routine. Get a hearty breakfast. Hit up whatever panels you can. Always plan some floor time just so you can see what's on the floor, because there was like plenty of dice. Like for some reason we were really into dice this time, and we wanted to see some more dice, but we could never get up to the front of the table to actually be able to look at it and handle the dice.
Like I specifically.
Well, this was in the dice, but I had more time with our panel. I was like probably 5 hours in there.
Yeah, you can easily spend a lot of time with the panel, between an hour of waiting, because everybody shows up right an hour early. So you're sitting there for an hour waiting for the panel to start, and then at least an hour as the panel's going on. Now when it came to the podcast, off topic, and Heroes and Halfwits, it was an hour and a half.
No, Sunday I think I only went to one. After that, I started going to all these panels, and I didn't go no more. I was just down there with the...
But see,
you're going to do a montage of your cosplay pictures? Not here. Like eventually you're going to try and put together like a...
Yeah.
a photo album.
Well, my question to you was because you
Did you tell them all where to go to view it?
did you tell them about dorkFish Channel?
Yes.
Okay.
And I even got cards.
Oh.
You got dorkFish cards, or you got their cards?
Their cards.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what fucking cards do we have?
The only thing we have is shorts. I haven't.
Shorts?
T-shirts. That's the only thing we have right now.
We have shirts. You merchandising, son?
Oh, I didn't tell you. Yes, I did ask you. Yeah, I wanted an extra large.
We have dorkFish shirts.
Yes.
Where?
I like to see the design.
Yeah, what?
I like to see it go through the design and approval process before I go wearing anything.
Oh, we needed a. Oh. They're done, so I didn't even needed approval.
I did this part up. Anyways.
Anyway, that was our experience at RTX 2018 in Austin. We had a blast. For those of you who were there with us, I know you had a blast too. There's no way that you could have possibly not enjoyed it unless you just ate Rooster Teeth. Which, by all means, if you're out there, you do you. But for us, 10 out of 10, definitely plan to do again. We are aiming for 2018 for sure. Or 2019, I'm sorry. I was like, what the fuck are you pulling out of this box here?
Got my brownie.
He got his brownie.
Got my brownie back.
Aiming for 2019 next year, and hopefully we get to see you guys there.
Hopefully
I will get to know you
Hopefully, get the time on
more.
work.
This time,
And I will have a conversation with you this time.
yeah. You're
There you
actually
go.
going to watch some of the
Yes.
stuff. Again, I'm telling you, download the Rooster Teeth app. You got everything that they host right then and there. And
It was in Venom's card.
I'm trying to wrap this whole thing up.
It's a little dried out.
If you like this show, if you like our podcast, then go ahead and subscribe to us here on YouTube. If you look in the description below, I'm hoping to have a link to an audio-only version of our podcast. Do not wave that in my face. I'm still stuffed from fucking Oreos. And follow us on Twitch. You'll also find our description or our links to our Twitch channels down in the description below as well. I believe Venom is on Mixer, however, for some strange reason, so you can follow him on the Mixer link below. This has been Kirby.
Venom.
Shadow with the brownie.
And once again, we thank you for watching and listening. You have a wonderful day. Night.
Bye.